Let's go ahead and solve a couple of equations. Now, when you solve an equation, your goal is to find the value of the variable. So when we're looking at an equation, the first thing we want to do is locate the variable. So in this first equation, here it is, it's n. We have 7 minus the quantity 4 squared minus 10 plus n equals 10. And our goal is to do some math stuff so that we end up with that value of n. What number will n have to be to make this equation true? What number could we substitute in for n so that both sides of this equation were equal? And we're going to start off by doing the order of operations to simplify this equation as much as we can. And so it looks like when we look in our grouping symbols here, which is where we should start, the first thing that we can do is 4 squared, which is 16. So we'll leave everything the same, except we'll do 4 squared to get 16. Okay, and now we're not quite done with our grouping symbols. There's only one more thing to do though, and that is the 16 minus 10, which is going to give us 6. And once we do that, we don't need the grouping symbols anymore because we've done everything in the parentheses. So we can drop the parentheses now. And this is what it looks like. So now there's no multiplication or division to do, so we move on to the last part of our order of operations, which is addition and subtraction. And we've got some subtraction right here at the beginning. This 7 minus 6 is going to give us 1. So we've got 1 plus n equals 10. We can't do 1 plus n because they're not like terms, so at this point there's nothing else we can do to simplify the equation, and so all that's left for us to do is to figure out what the value of n is. Now what this equation is saying is that 1 plus n equals 10, meaning 1 plus some number is 10. And of course, there's only one number that will work. There's only one number that when we add it to 1 gives us 10, and that number is 9. 1 plus 9 is 10, so the solution to this equation is 9. Okay, let's go over to this second equation we have, and this one's a little bit different because it has two variables in it. It's the same variable, but it occurs twice. We've got an n right here, and then on the other side of the equals we've got another n. So let's see if we can figure out what this value of n is. And again, we're going to start with our order of operations, and that means beginning with grouping symbols. And we've got two grouping symbols here. We need to do 3 plus 2, which is going to give us 5, and then over here we've got 10 minus 3, which is going to give us 7. So that is the only thing to do in those grouping symbols. So let's drop the grouping symbols for this next step. Since we've done everything in there, we've got n times 5. Okay, and then we've got plus 6 equals 5n plus 7. All right, now there's really not anything else we can do to simplify this. Right at the beginning, that n times 5, we can rewrite that to look like 5n, which just looks a little nicer. So we've got 5n plus 6 equals 5n plus 7. There's nothing else we can do to simplify this because 5n and 6 are not like terms. So what value of n would make this statement true? And what I notice is that no matter what I plug in, the left side is going to be plus 6 and the right side is going to be plus 7, which means the right side, this side right here, will always be 1 higher. They'll always be 1 higher than the left side because it's plus 7 and the other side is plus 6. So no matter what number I put in place of the n here, the right side is always going to be higher than the left side by 1. So there is no value of n that will give me a true statement here. No matter what number I put in for n, I'm going to have one side higher than the other. So what do I write then if there's no number that will work? Well, this is an empty solution set. There is no solution, and that's what I write for my answer. No solution. No matter what I use for the value of n here, I will not be able to find anything that will make this equation